Welcome to Unseen Frames. This is a channel where we explore anime through the light novels. These are the original stories most fans never get to read. We will uncover hidden details, emotional moments, and secret lore that the anime often leaves out. Today, we are diving into ReZero Volume 1. This is the full story of Subaru Natsuki's first days in another world. So sit back, relax, and listen. This is the light novel, as it was meant to be heard. Feeling the rough texture of the ground against his face, Subaru Natsuki realizes he has fallen face down and cannot move. His fingers have lost sensation, overwhelmed instead by an intense heat consuming his entire body. Blood rises in his throat and he vomits it onto the ground before him, creating a frothy red pool. His vision is hazy, but he can see the crimson stain spreading. Reaching a trembling hand to find the source of the burning pain, his fingertips touch a large cut running through his stomach. His brain has mistaken the excruciating pain for heat. The clean gash nearly slices him in half, held together only by bits of skin. He understands he has reached checkmate in the chess game of his life. As his consciousness begins to fade, a black boot descends into his field of vision, creating ripples in his blood. Someone stands before him, the likely killer, but Subaru cannot bring himself to look up. The one thought crossing his mind is hope that she, at least, will be safe. A voice rings like bells in his ears, feeling like salvation. With a short scream, someone else collapses beside him in the blood. He weakly reaches for her white hand, grasping it with his blood-stained fingers. Her fingers move slightly to accept his grip. Seizing his fading consciousness, he whispers that he will find a way to save her. In that next instant, Subaru Natsuki loses his life. Subaru stands on a busy street with no money and no idea what to do. His wallet contains cash useless in this world with its different currency system. He flicks his rare notched 10-yen coin in the air with a sigh. His appearance is unremarkable. Short black hair, average height, slightly muscular build, but his gray tracksuit and dark eyes make him stand out among the colorful-haired crowd wearing armor, robes, and strange costumes. Passing pedestrians glance at him with curiosity. Subaru crosses his arms and accepts the truth. He has been summoned to another world. He recalls his life on Earth as an ordinary Japanese high school student who avoided decisions and accumulated unexcused absences until becoming a full-fledged truant. Now transported while returning from a convenience store with his cell phone, wallet, instant ramen, crispy snacks, tracksuit, and worn sneakers, he laments the lack of welfare safety nets and proper equipment. No Excalibur, no powers, just ordinary circumstances in an extraordinary situation. Subaru sits against a wall in an alley after drifting from the main road. He observes the medieval-like civilization with well-paved roads, but no mechanical vehicles. Fortunately, communication is possible, and commerce operates with gold, silver, and copper coins. His first contact, a merchant at a fruit stand, was unwelcoming. As a modern Japanese youth poisoned by anime and games, Subaru quickly accepts his otherworldly summoning but misses the expected beautiful girl who should have summoned him. The lack of a main heroine creates a plot hole. Returning to his default state of escaping reality, Subaru stands to face the main road, but nearly collides with a large man who grabs his shoulder and pulls him back into the alley. Two more men join the first, blocking Subaru's exit. Their practiced movements suggest this is not their first robbery. Subaru apologizes, but the men demand everything he possesses with scornful gazes reflecting their meanness. Subaru considers this a compulsory event, encountering thugs to demonstrate everyday dangers. Looking at the smirking men, Subaru maintains a fake smile while considering his options. He recalls stories where humans summoned to other worlds gain superpowers. Feeling lighter than usual, he believes this world's gravity might be weaker, giving him confidence. He declares he will defeat them to begin his glorious future, calling them experience point sources. The men grow angry at his apparent mockery. Subaru flies forward with a straight jab, hitting the large man's nose and cutting his own fist on the man's tooth. For the first time in his life, he hits someone and is surprised by how much it hurts. The man falls, and Subaru immediately leaps at another man, landing a kick to his head that slams him against the alley wall. Feeling invincible, Subaru prepares to finish the last man, but freezes when he sees a glinting knife in the man's hand. Instantly dropping to his knees, Subaru prostrates himself with his forehead against the ground, apologizing profusely. The most extreme form of Japanese humility replaces his fired-up feeling as blood drains from his body. The two defeated men recover quickly, shocking Subaru, who expected his one-hit knockout punch to work. He realizes his assumption about superpowers was wrong. One man steps on Subaru's head, scraping his forehead against the ground, while another kicks his face repeatedly. With the knife threat, fighting is impossible. No training can overcome a stab wound. As Subaru distances himself from reality facing the descending knife, someone yells to make way while dashing into the alley. Subaru manages to glance up and sees a small girl with longish blonde hair running past. Her red eyes show strong will, and a protruding canine tooth makes her look mischievous. Despite her unclean appearance, Subaru finds her cute. Hope lights within him as he expects a rescue from this girl who stumbled upon the attempted murder. Instead, the girl apologizes while running past, claiming she has her hands full and telling Subaru to live life to the fullest. The men and Subaru stand dumbstruck as the girl kicks off a wooden plank, grabs the wall top, and flings herself onto a roof, disappearing. After this hurricane-like passage, the alley falls silent, but Subaru's situation remains unchanged. The men grow angrier that their mood has been ruined. Subaru pleads desperately for mercy as the knife draws nearer, feeling emptiness that his life will end without accomplishing anything. Tears well in his eyes. In this overwhelming despair, a voice overcomes all noise, shaking the world's foundations. Hold it right there, you evildoers. Time seems to stand still as a beautiful girl stands at the alley entrance. She has long silver hair with braids reaching her hips and violet eyes shining with intelligence. Her soft features mix youth and mature beauty, giving her a noble, dangerous charm. About 5 feet 3 inches tall, she wears simple white clothes, emphasizing her presence. Her white cloak bears embroidery of a bird of prey, adding to her majesty. Her voice rings like silver bells as she declares she will not stand by and watch wrongdoing continue. The thugs shake under her presence. One asks who she thinks she is, but she offers to let them go if they return what they stole. The men point at Subaru, confused about her intentions. She explains the stolen item is precious to her and pleads for its return. Pressure rises within the group as the men panic, insisting they didn't steal from her, but from Subaru. The girl turns to Subaru inquiringly, and he nods confirmation. She accepts their explanation about the thief running down the alley and turns to leave, but then stops and raises her palm. Shining lights dance before her hand. A dull thud sounds as the men cry out and are thrown backward. A fist-sized clump of ice falls beside Subaru, quickly evaporating. Subaru mutters magic upon seeing this. His expectations of fantasy magic with light and energy are disappointed by this unrefined chunk of ice used as a blunt object. The remaining conscious men draw weapons, a knife and a club, but the girl closes one eye, acknowledging the 2-on-1 disadvantage. A higher-pitched voice finishes her sentence. Would 2-on-2 be a bit more fair? Everyone looks around, but sees no one until the girl extends her left hand. Sitting upright on her palm is a small, palm-sized cat with gray hair, floppy ears, and a pink nose. The knife-wielding man yells in fear that she is a spirit mage. The cat introduces itself as Puck and offers the men a chance to leave. They rush to pick up their fallen companion, but one threatens to remember her face. Puck lightly curses them and their offspring. Terrified, the men flee without another word. Left alone with the girl and cat, Subaru tries to thank them, but she warns him not to move. Her violet eyes remain cautious despite realizing he is not with the thugs. Subaru unthinkingly blushes under her beautiful gaze and looks away. The girl interprets this as suspicious behavior while Puck defends him, sensing zero evil intentions. Shushing Puck, she asks if Subaru knows the thief who stole her badge. He denies any knowledge, causing her confidence to collapse as she turns to Puck in panic. She claims this was all a waste of time. Puck reminds her to hurry since the thief was fast. Subaru pretends to wake up fully, offering thanks and suggesting she leaves since she is in a hurry. Dizzy, he falls face first onto the ground. Puck's warning comes too late. Hearing their conversation as his consciousness fades, Subaru realizes he will be abandoned. The girl insists she is only helping for her own sake and demands repayment. Puck asks if they should save him. The girl refuses twice, shouting that she will not save him before his consciousness finally falls into darkness. Subaru wakes with sunlight in his eyes, realizing his head rests on something soft. A kind voice tells him not to move since he hit his head. Expecting a girl's lap, he rubs his cheek against the fluffiness, only to find Puck, the giant cat spirit, serving as his pillow. The silver-haired girl stands at the alley entrance, outwardly unfazed. Subaru apologizes for the trouble and thanks her for staying. She insists she only remained to ask questions about her stolen badge and would have abandoned him otherwise. She explains that healing his wounds and Puck's assistance were purely self-serving acts requiring repayment. When Subaru points out she can simply ask her questions, she sternly demands information about the thief. He confirms his ignorance, but she accepts this as useful data justifying his treatment. Preparing to leave, she warns that if she sees him in similar danger again, there will be no merit to saving him. Puck apologizes for her dishonesty from his shoulder. Subaru realizes she saved him despite her urgent quest, healed him after he passed out, and now twists logic to hide her compassion. Feeling she will keep sacrificing until nothing remains, he stands and runs after her as she reaches the alley entrance. He asks her to wait and offers to help find what she lost. She turns around reluctantly. Subaru describes the thief: blonde hair, kitten-like features, protruding canine tooth, short stature. His flustered speech causes painful silence. She calls him strange and stares as if at a rare animal. He insists on helping despite having nothing to gain. Puck supports him, citing Emilia's stubbornness and the setting sun limiting his own ability to assist. After hesitation, she concedes, warning she cannot offer repayment. They exchange names swiftly. Subaru Natsuki and Emilia, though she initially says Satella, Puck corrects her stubbornness. Standing at the slum's entrance, Subaru and Emilia hesitate before the gloomy, silent street. Subaru notes the terrible atmosphere but recalls suggesting this location. Emilia reminds him the fruit shop owner advised abandoning the search. Subaru proposes asking guards for help, but she immediately refuses, apologizing without explanation. Puck warns they must decide quickly as sunset approaches and his form will fade. Emilia chooses to proceed, cautioning Subaru about residents accustomed to violence. He insists on following her. Inside the slums, Subaru discovers an advantage. His dirt-covered, blood-stained appearance draws pity, while Emilia's fine clothes and beauty make residents avoid her. He remarks she is worse off squared, but cannot suggest she dirty herself. When Emilia touches the red flower pinned to her cloak, Subaru resolves to try harder. Puck fades as the green crystal in Emilia's hand glows faintly. Before vanishing, he warns Subaru to protect her. Subaru boasts about his sixth sense for danger, but Emilia points out his weakness, advising him to call her if trouble arises. After nearly an hour of searching, Subaru approaches a man as my brother and learns they seek Felt, a blonde, fast girl who likely took the badge to the loot cellar. Its master tags stolen items for resale based on trust. Subaru worries about funds, but Emilia reveals her badge has a jewel embedded. They find the surprisingly large loot cellar building against the city's defensive wall at the slum's deepest part. At the loot cellar entrance, Subaru volunteers to handle negotiations despite Satella's direct approach. He plans to use his cell phone as a bartering item since it likely doesn't exist in this world. Inside the dark, sour-smelling building, Subaru notices something sticky under his shoes. Touching his sneaker's bottom, he feels a strange fluid clinging to his fingers. Following the stickiness, he discovers a corpse, an arm lying separate from a body with its throat cut wide open. Before he can react, a woman's cold voice speaks from behind. Subaru turns just as an incredible force blows him backward. He hits the wall, dropping his light source into darkness. Heat overwhelms him completely, identical to his first experience. Face down on hard ground, he cannot move. His fingers lose sensation as blood froths at his mouth's edges. The hazy vision shows ground stained red. Reaching his shaking hand to his stomach, he finds a large cut almost slicing him in half. Consciousness fades as he realizes checkmate in life's chess game. A black boot steps down, making ripples in his blood. Someone stands there, the likely killer, but he doesn't look up. His only wish is for her to be safe. Hearing a bell-like voice call Baru, he feels salvation. With a short scream, someone else falls beside him. He weakly grasps her white hand with his blood-stained grip. Her fingers move slightly to accept his. Seizing fading consciousness, he whispers, he will find a way to save her before losing his life completely. Subaru stands before a fruit shop again, confused. The scar-faced shop owner asks if he wants an apple, a round red fruit resembling an apple. Subaru stares blankly, shocking the man who pushes him aside, annoyed at wasted time. The main road bustles with pedestrians and lizard carts. Subaru realizes it is still daytime despite expecting night. Checking his stomach, he finds no wound, no blood. Everything is back to square one. His convenience store bag is full, cell phone and wallet in place. He feels like going crazy as memory gaps confuse him. Remembering his death and Emilia's fall at the loot cellar, guilt overwhelms him. Puck asked him to take care of Satella, but he missed every opportunity to turn back. Satella told him to call her if anything happened, but he didn't. He curses his uselessness while good-natured Satella and aloof Puck might be dead. Determined to return to the loot cellar, Subaru moves, but thugs block his path. Recognizing the same three men from earlier, he feels déjà vu. Their bad personalities and upbringing seep from them as they demand his possessions. Subaru initially tries peaceful resolution, but their insults push him too far. He attacks first, landing an uppercut on the knife-wielding man's jaw, then punching his abdomen. He trips the next man and tackles the third, slamming him against the wall. The remaining man grabs Subaru's collar, but he crushes the man's wrists with his grip strength from free time as a truant. Executing a suplex throw, he knocks the man unconscious. Checking that no one died, Subaru leaves the alley while onlookers gasp in surprise. He realizes precious minutes have been wasted. After nearly 2 hours of running through the capital, Subaru finally locates the loot cellar. Sweat drips from his brow as he recalls getting lost despite previous visits. The biggest problem remains his inability to read signs. The building's rough door rejects him as his heart beats louder and pulse quickens. Flashbacks of the old man's corpse, his sliced abdomen, and Satella's figure haunt him. He slaps his legs to calm shaking knees and pushes forward. Knocking desperately on the door, he pleads for an answer. When no response comes, he knocks harder until the door suddenly opens. A giant red-faced, bald old man throws Subaru backward about 5 meters. Subaru rolls several times before looking up at the 6 or 7 foot tall, energetic old geezer. The man lifts Subaru by his collar, demanding how he found this place. Subaru identifies himself as Natsuki Subaru, the wandering vagrant, and politely requests to be put down. Despite the violent first encounter, Subaru enters the loot cellar. Sitting on a splintered chair before the counter, he shifts uncomfortably. The giant old man, Ram, pours himself liquor while observing Subaru. Subaru examines the loot cellar, finding no traces of previous tragedy. Ram narrows his eyes, asking if Subaru is interested in stolen goods. Subaru conditionally agrees, adding another reason for his visit. He asks if Ram has died recently, avoiding details about the decapitated arm or sliced throat. Ram laughs heartily, claiming he hasn't died yet despite his age. Pouring Subaru a glass of liquor, he presses him to drink. After initial resistance, Subaru drinks the amber liquid in one gulp, coughing violently at the burn. Ram appreciates his form and asks what's stuck inside him. Subaru explains his other reason, retrieving a jeweled badge. Ram apologizes for having nothing like that, but mentions someone plans to bring something valuable later, possibly the badge. Confirming the person is Felt, Subaru strikes a victory pose. Ram questions how he knows the thief's name. Subaru explains he was just about to think his love of silver-haired heroines made him delusional. Ram warns that retrieving the badge will require high payment. Subaru proudly declares his peerless, penniless status, but introduces the concept of barter. Taking his cell phone from his pocket, he demonstrates its ability to freeze time in photographs. Ram examines the device with interest, calling it a emilia, a magic item usable without opening gates. He admits it would sell at a high price, but warns it might be worth more than a purely decorative item. Subaru insists on exchanging it for the badge, explaining he wants to repay someone who saved his life. Ram calls him an idiot, but allows him to wait for Felt. Subaru spends time chatting with Ram while waiting. He shares corn chips. Ram promptly eats entirely. When Felt arrives using special passwords, Subaru stands up, causing a clatter. Felt immediately looks suspicious, questioning Ram about betrayal. Ram explains Subaru has business related to her big thing and an offer not too bad. Felt remains guarded but agrees to negotiate at a small table. Ram provides milk while warning them he will only give space and refreshments. Felt insults Subaru's appearance and demands direct negotiation. Subaru explains he only wants the badge in her pocket. She places it on the table, a dragon-shaped badge with a red jewel in its mouth. Subaru slaps his cell phone down, demonstrating its camera function with rapid flashes. Felt examines her image on the screen indifferently, interested only in monetary value. She reveals she already has another offer: 10 blessed gold coins from someone named Elsa. Rom estimates the badge might sell for 4 or 5 gold coins at best. Subaru learns blessed gold coins are worth twice regular ones. Felt explains she plans to use this information to sweeten her deal with Elsa. She reveals they will meet here after sunset. A knock interrupts their conversation. Felt checks the door, returning with an incredibly beautiful woman named Elsa. Tall, with black hair tied in a braid, down-angled eyes, and sickly white skin, she wears tight black clothing. Subaru feels nervous under her gaze. Felt takes the seat between Rom and the wall while Subaru stands to her right. Elsa questions Subaru's presence, and Felt introduces him as Elsa's rival in bidding. Elsa takes a sip of milk, examining Subaru while he demonstrates his cell phone again. She identifies it as emilia. Placing a leather bag on the table, she reveals 20 blessed gold coins, more than initially offered. Rom confirms Subaru's emilia should sell for over 20 blessed gold coins, declaring him the winner. Felt accepts, while Elsa shows no displeasure. Subaru celebrates his first accomplishment, but stops when Elsa asks his purpose for the badge. He reveals he plans to return it to its owner, triggering Elsa's murderous intent. Felt tackles Subaru just as Elsa swings her kukri blade. Rom rushes forward with his club, trading blows with Elsa. Despite his size and strength, Rom loses his right arm to Elsa's blade. Blood sprays everywhere as Rom kicks over the table, attempting a final attack. Elsa slits his throat with a broken glass shard. Bowing respectfully to Rom's corpse, she targets Subaru and Felt. Felt challenges Elsa despite being empty-handed. As Felt dashes forward with acrobatic movements, Elsa cuts across her chest from shoulder to underarm. Felt's blood flows like a fountain before she loses consciousness and dies. Subaru cannot move, unable to help either body. Elsa criticizes his hesitation, but he finally stands, launching a mindless attack. She effortlessly elbows him in the face and kicks him into a porcelain shelf. Repeated attacks break his nose, front teeth, ribs, and left shoulder. Mocking his inexperience, she slices about 70% through his abdomen with a second kukri hidden at her waist. As Subaru slides down the wall, she kneels beside him, ecstatic over his beautiful intestines. His consciousness fades amid absolute fear of death. His final thought is that he is dead before his life flickers out. Subaru stands before the fruit shop again, the shopkeeper holding an apple. Reality slowly returns as his heart beats ferociously and breathing becomes ragged. After collapsing, the owner helps him recover with cold water. Subaru feels deep wounds from Satella's absence, memories of the blade, flying arm, screams, blood sea, and silver hair haunt him. He hugs his knees, shaking uncontrollably. Unable to suppress emotions, he raises his face to scream but stops when seeing a silver-haired girl in a white robe walking past. Her violet eyes glance at him uninterestedly before looking straight ahead. Subaru chases her desperately, grabbing her shoulder. He apologizes for leaving and not listening, explaining he went to the loot cellar but couldn't meet her there. Relieved to see her unharmed, he expresses simple happiness at their reunion. The girl angrily asks why he calls her by the Witch of Jealousy's name. Confused, Subaru explains that is what he was told to call her. She rebukes him harshly, explaining most people hesitate to even utter that taboo name. The entire shopping district freezes. Everyone staring at them stock still. The girl declares she doesn't have time for him and walks away. Subaru hesitates to call her name again. Something leaps from a cart canvas above, weaving through the crowd like wind. The gust slips into the girl's robe, stealing the dragon-adorned badge before flying down an alley. Recognizing Felt, Subaru yells her name, but the wind hesitates only briefly before escaping. The silver-haired girl accuses Subaru of working with Felt. After he denies it, she runs after Felt down the alley. Subaru follows, confused about multiple contradictions. His mind cannot process everything after dying twice. He yells about needing someone nice to him and questioning why he was summoned before entering a dark alley. At the alley dead end, Subaru finds no sign of Felt or the girl. He considers heading to the loot cellar where Rom should be alive. Confused about contradictory events, Felt cut down, Rom's neck slit, Satella fallen in blood, his abdomen sliced twice. He decides not to waste time thinking. Turning around, he finds the same 3 thugs blocking his exit. Exhausted from multiple encounters, Subaru demands they get out of his way. The thugs laugh at his changed attitude, claiming he isn't in a position to order them. Subaru offers everything he owns to avoid wasting time. The thugs mock his surrender but accept his possessions. as Subaru names them Dumb, Dumber, and Dumbest. He reaches into his convenience store bag and freezes. His bag of corn soup-flavored crispy snacks is still full and sealed despite Rom eating them earlier. This impossible situation triggers Subaru's realization about recurring events. Ignoring the thugs taunting, he pushes past them but stumbles when one stabs him in the back with a knife. Pain overwhelms him as he chokes on rising blood. The thugs panic about guards and being caught. Subaru's senses fade while smelling mud and blood. His brain dies before his other functions. With a faint scraping sound, Subaru loses his life a third time. Waking in darkness, Subaru opens his eyes to bright sunlight. The shopkeeper asks about an apple again. Subaru questions how many times he has seen his face. The man claims never before, calling Subaru's expression awful. Subaru asks the date, Tammuz the 14th, halfway through the year. He proudly declares his penniless status, receiving the shopkeeper's yelling response before scrambling away. Checking his possessions, Subaru confirms everything is intact. Wallet, cell phone, unopened snacks, undamaged tracksuit, and sneakers. Lifting his tracksuit hem, he finds no scars or wounds. Snapping his fingers publicly, he declares his discovery. Whenever he dies, he restarts at square one in his initial state. He dubs this ability Return by Death, a power assuming loss rather than heroic return. Considering time travel concepts, he accepts this reality despite its absurdity. Having died 3 times in half a day, he recognizes Elsa as the probable killer both times. The third death by weak thugs proves his vulnerability. He contemplates avoiding Emilia and Elsa entirely, but remembers their inevitable encounters. Felt and Rom will die by Elsa's hand regardless. Despite calling them criminals, Subaru cannot ignore knowing someone will be killed. He admits his previous uncaring attitude was shallow. He must work hard for the silver-haired girl to trust him with her real name. Stretching and popping joints, he declares a man must do what a man must do before the annoyed shopkeeper pushes him out. Subaru arrives at the slums, implementing his plan to look destitute by covering himself in dried mud. Residents cooperate readily, directing him to Felt's dilapidated shack. Turning a corner, he freezes. Elsa stands before him. She comments on his fear and anger smells, but decides not to risk a fuss in daylight. Subaru cynically hopes their next meeting will be crowded and bright. After Elsa vanishes, he reaches Felt's shack. Expressing pity for her small home angers her. Subaru explains he wants to buy the stolen badge. Felt accuses him of working with Elsa, but he claims arch-enemy status. She waves the badge, willing to sell to the highest bidder. Subaru offers an item worth over 20 blessed gold coins. Her red eyes narrow cat-like, but she demands proof. He demonstrates his cell phone's camera, taking rapid photos that flash through the alley. Felt reacts girlishly before examining the images critically. She accepts the item's rarity, but insists on third-party appraisal at the loot cellar. Subaru pushes her toward it immediately, avoiding casualties. His only condition is quick appraisal and departure. Noticing Felt taking detours through narrow, dark alleys littered with debris, Subaru calls her out. She admits doubting him, but agrees to go straight after being impressed by his lack of anger. Felt explains her hatred for losers in the slums and her dream to escape with enough coins. Subaru grins, realizing she has someone she cannot leave behind, likely Rom. Ruffling her hair despite protests, he solidifies his determination to change everyone's fate. At the loot cellar, they use special passwords to enter. Rom appears annoyed but relaxes upon seeing Felt. Subaru requests immediate appraisal of his metia. Walking through narrow, dark alleys with Felt, Subaru feels dampness underfoot amidst broken bottles and paper scraps. Strong, unpleasant stenches assault his nose. Noticing Felt taking detours, Subaru calls her out. She admits doubting him, but agrees to go straight to the loot cellar after being impressed by his lack of anger. Felt explains her hatred for losers, languishing in alleyway life, without trying to better themselves. Subaru realizes her thefts stem from wanting to leave the slums. She mentions 20 blessed gold coins, bringing her closer to her dream, but needing more if not going alone. Subaru grins, understanding she has someone she cannot leave behind, likely Rom. Ruffling her hair despite protests, he solidifies his determination to change everyone's fate. Not Satella's, Felt's, and Rom's. This must be why he keeps repeating this day. At the loot cellar, they use special passwords to enter. Rom appears annoyed but relaxes upon seeing Felt. Subaru requests immediate appraisal of his Meteor. Rom carefully examines the cell phone, impressed by Felt's photo wallpaper. He estimates it worth over 20 blessed gold coins. Subaru offers the trade, but Felt hesitates, demanding to know his true intentions. He confesses wanting to return the badge to its rightful owner. Felt scoffs at his supposed partnership with Elsa. Rom supports Subaru's honesty, but Felt remains unconvinced. Suddenly, Rom senses someone at the door. Subaru yells not to open it, warning they will all be killed. Felt ignores him and opens the door, revealing the silver-haired girl instead of Elsa. Subaru sighs in relief at finding her alive despite previous failures. Seeing the silver-haired girl enter, Felt steps back, mortified. The girl demands the badge's return, activating ice magic with 6 icicles floating before her palm. Rom recognizes her as a half-elf, causing Felt to panic about her resemblance to someone else. Felt accuses Subaru of setting her up with the girl. The girl frowns, confused about their supposed partnership. Subaru sighs at the complicated situation and notices the red flower decoration pinned to her cloak. He asks Felt to return the badge and for the girl to take it and leave. Both girls question Subaru's sudden familiarity. Rom misunderstands Subaru's look for help. Suddenly, a black shadow creeps up behind the girl. Subaru yells for Puck to block just as Elsa's blade strikes. A bluish-white magic circle activates behind the girl's head, shattering the blade's tip. The girl turns around as Puck stands proudly on her shoulder, glad to have saved them. Elsa appears disappointed at failing to kill a spirit. Felt angrily confronts Elsa about changing their agreement from buying the badge to creating a bloodbath. Elsa coldly explains she will kill everyone and collect the badge from the sea of blood since Felt failed her job. Subaru shouts at Elsa for picking on a little kid, calling her an intestine-obsessed sadist who should treasure life. He channels all his anger about the world's injustice toward her. Puck creates over 20 sharpened icicles surrounding Elsa from all sides. Introducing himself, Puck warns Elsa to remember his name as she says farewell to this world. The crisscrossing icicles whip up white mist as Elsa leaps out unharmed, having shed her magic-warding coat. She attacks the girl, but is blocked by multi-layered ice shields. Puck orchestrates counterattacks, while Elsa evades with superhuman skill, spinning, ducking, stepping on walls, and shattering ice with her blade. Puck admits underestimating her strength. Subaru worries about Puck tiring out before Elsa. Rom explains spirit mages work in pairs, one attacking, one defending. As the battle intensifies, Elsa freezes her bleeding foot with ice after slicing off the soul to escape Puck's ultimate move. Puck disappears from mana exhaustion after warning the girl to call him if needed. Rom and Felt prepare to join the fight. Subaru thanks Felt for her earlier encouragement, revealing he is 17, old enough to drive and marry. Felt complains about his youthful appearance. Subaru admits his lack of fighting ability and shaking legs. Rom joins the battle but gets knocked out by Elsa after Felt saves him with a well-aimed knife. Subaru tackles Felt to safety as Elsa's blade scrapes his head. He instructs Felt to run when he creates an opening. Felt objects, but Subaru insists on giving the youngest the highest survival chance. Swinging Rom's club, Subaru attacks Elsa when her back is turned. He creates an opening for Felt to escape, but gets kicked hard in the head. Spitting blood, Subaru continues drawing Elsa's attention while the girl barrages her with ice. She grows tired of their game. The girl reveals a hidden true power that would leave only her alive. Subaru rejects self-destruction, declaring he will blow Elsa away for a happy ending. He aims to ensure she never needs that final option. Subaru points at Emilia and Elsa, declaring his intention to win. Elsa smiles blood red as Subaru swings Rom's club like a home run. She melts into darkness, sliding along the ground like a spider. Subaru kicks up his knee defensively as her blade rises. Emilia creates an ice shield just in time. They coordinate attacks while Elsa deflects everything. Subaru receives slight cuts all over, continuing to draw her attention. When Elsa grabs his leg aiming to slice it off, Subaru kicks her stomach. A flame erupts through the roof's center, its ghastly malice freezing everyone. Reinhard van Estrella of the Royal Guard stands in the smoke, red hair blazing. He identifies Elsa as the Bowel Hunter before turning to Subaru. "I came when I felt the disturbance of magic and combat," he explains. Turning to Elsa, he recommends surrender, but she compares herself to a starving predator before wounded prey. Reinhard asks Subaru to move Rom and Emilia to safety, warning about Elsa's multiple blades. Reinhard kicks up an old two-handed sword, testing it before facing Elsa. Their battle creates sparks as blades collide. Elsa fights with 3 knives, leaping off walls and ceilings. Reinhard holds back to avoid disrupting Emilia's spirit magic. When healing completes, Subaru signals Reinhard, who nods. Declaring their names, Elsa, the Bowl Hunter, Gramhilda, and Reinhard van Astrea from the Master Swordsman line, they prepare to end the battle. Reinhard's sword presence overwhelms the room. A brilliant light blows off the roof, cutting the space in half. Residual waves pull debris into a spiraling storm. Subaru protects Emilia and Rom from collateral damage. The building stands ready to collapse. Reinhard's sword disintegrates from the power of his swing. No trace of Elsa remains in the destruction's path. Subaru checks that everyone survived, joking about Reinhard's monstrous power. He helps the girl stand after she used spirit magic. She rubs her brow, annoyed at his flailing. Reinhard approaches Felt, who called for help earlier. Subaru feels happy seeing everyone alive. Suddenly, Reinhard yells as Black Shadow dashes from debris. Blood-dripping Elsa with a bent blade races toward Subaru. Her murderous eyes focus solely on him. Reinhard won't make it in time. Subaru pushes the girl aside, guarding his stomach with the club as Elsa's strike collides. The horizontal slice feels like a heavy, blunt object impact. Subaru flies backward, vomiting blood as the world spins. Striking the wall upside down, he hears Elsa click her tongue at his interference. Reinhard stops her before she can continue. She throws her bent knife as distraction and escapes across rooftops. Reinhard doesn't pursue her. The girl rushes to Subaru's side, distressed. He jokes about making a good guess where she would attack. Lifting his tracksuit, he reveals purple bruises. Reinhard picks up the club, noticing it's cut completely in 2. A red line suddenly appears across Subaru's abdomen. As searing pain shoots through him, his stomach opens along the cut, spilling blood everywhere. His vision shifts sideways as he falls over. Seeing the girl's panicked face close to his, he thinks she looks cute, even when panicking before pain and shock sweep his consciousness away. Reinhard watches the faint blue healing light with regret. Emilia brushes Subaru's forehead, ensuring redness and life remain in his face. She stands up, declaring he has passed the worst. Reinhard kneels before her, sword placed in front, apologizing for his shortcomings and accepting any punishment. Emilia waves her finger, criticizing his tendency to take responsibility for others' pain. She points to Subaru, calling him more honest for demanding a reward after saving her. Reinhard smiles, remembering Subaru's pose and request. Emilia explains Reinhard saved them all from grave danger with everyone alive. No fault exists to punish. She asks how he found them. Reinhard explains he was patrolling the area when Felt found him during the commotion. Emilia requests he refrain from interfering with Felt and Rom. She will take Subaru to learn more about him and repay his life-saving act. Reinhard agrees to send knights escorting her home. They discuss declaring the area off-limits and issuing wanted posters for Elsa. Reinhard admits difficulty grasping what happened with Felt and Rom. Emilia approaches Felt taking care of unconscious Rom. She asks if he has family. Felt admits he is like a grandfather figure. Emilia shares having only one family member who sleeps when needed. Felt returns the badge, since Subaru saved her life too. Emilia warns against continuing thievery. Felt refuses, explaining she only returns it due to owing them her life. Just as Felt places the badge in Emilia's hand, Reinhard grabs her wrist firmly. His serious expression shocks both girls. He asks Felt's name, surname, and age. She reveals being an orphan, approximately 15, with unknown birthday. Reinhard declares he can no longer fulfill Emilia's request. He must take Felt with him. When she protests, he knocks her unconscious. Gently taking the badge from Felt's limp hand, he gives it to Emilia. The dragon symbol of Lugunica shines brightly in her hands. Reinhard asks Emilia to care for Subaru before bowing. Holding Felt's light weight, he brushes her blonde hair away, noting her innocent appearance when unconscious. A strong wind blows his bangs as he looks up at the full moon floating above the capital. He mutters this may be his last time looking at the moon, feeling at ease.